Good morning.
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 Good morning, Professional Photographers of America and beyond. Professional Photographers of America. Professional Photographers of Idaho.
We are
and
nationwide.
beyond.
Yeah.
And I'm here with my peers, Kim, Larry. You want to
Morning.
introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Larry Fry.
I'm Kim, Minter.
Rhymes with winter.
Yeah.
We're trying to overcome a mispronunciation of her name, and
We've already overcome it. We're just making fun of it now.
yeah, okay. We overcame it. Yeah, okay. So we've got a cool episode today. Let me do a little bit of my little voodoo magic over here, right? I'm going to bring up, well, it's there, so I should be able to hide it. Bring it on, and now, here we go. Nice, smooth transition. Today's episode is Danger, Danger. And really what this equates to is the red flags that are warning signs with potential new clients. And I love this topic, and I just want to say that this whole conversation comes from a Facebook group for real estate photography. And I asked them permission to use this conversation because this was such a great thread. Everybody's like, you need to pin this to the top. But if you are seeking clients, if you get phone calls or emails or Facebook messages or any way people communicate with you, if they lead with some of these topics, some of these statements,
Your brain should, the hair on the back of your neck should just
your brain
stand
should
up.
go,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
Not good.
Yeah, we've talked about the perfect, or not the perfect client, but clients before.
Yeah.
And in my business, my line of work, the pre-consult, which is everything to me, that it's actually more important, I think, than the actual event, because I know what I'm doing in the actual event, but you don't know who you're dealing with unless that pre-consult goes, well. So this is all the stuff that we hit on before. Well, there's more than what we've hit on
Yeah,
before.
this is phenomenal. No,
Yeah.
we haven't hit, we've talked about what makes a great client.
Right, but we haven't hit on all
and
these
we've
points.
talked, maybe we've skimmed the surface of what makes not a great client.
Yeah.
But these are the things to think about as you're having those initial conversations. I love some of these, and every single one of you, if you've worked for money, every single one of you have hit at least one or two of these, and you're going to go, oh my gosh.
Yep.
And sometimes these are barriers too, because what happens is you get that client, you didn't ask these questions or you didn't think about them when they said it, you took the job, and now you're scared to death to take another one because of that client that just jumped all over you. I'm kind of fortunate because I can give it right back. I'm good. So I don't have that.
Especially when the client isn't going to be a returning client.
Exactly. So,
Right.
but there are a lot of people that are intimidated by that, especially introverts. That they come out and they say, "Oh, it wasn't a great shoot," and the guy or gal jumps in your face, and you didn't get Susie, and you didn't do this, and you didn't that, and I'm like, whoa, they don't think I want to do this anymore. So that it's a kind of a
Well, and you know what?
Yeah.
A bad interaction with a client can really set you back on the confidence level, and the idea. And we were just talking about this, right? That you're not pro enough.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Part of the pro part of this, and this ties to one of these points that we're going to discuss, is you need to ask enough questions to draw some of these things out. Because if you ask certain questions, like, I'm going to send you a contract, and they balk.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get into this in just a bit. I want to
I just heard this morning. I've made this comment before, and I want to just kind of throw this in there before you move on.
lay it out.
So I've made this comment before that I don't work with people that don't have a wedding planner, that's like my number one rule. Maybe number two. Money's number one. Anyway, I just
Well, second.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just heard this morning, a professional wedding photographer say, and I'm quoting here, "I will offer to do their timeline," which I thought was amazing, because I don't offer to do the timeline. I don't want to be responsible for that timeline. So there's...
Can I speak to that?
Oh, sure, go ahead. You got a microphone. It's on. We're having a good time here today.
Good morning, Laquita. I see you.
Good morning, Laquita. Thanks for breaking that tension there for a minute.
Perfect timing.
So, contrary to popular belief, I do shoot some weddings, and I don't advertise it. We've talked about all that. One of the things that I offer my wedding client is a timeline planner. It's a PDF, and I give that to them. I don't want to manage their timeline day of, but I'm happy through our conversations and lead up to help them build that out. Because the better they are structured for their day of, the better my day's going to go.
Yeah, and maybe that's what this photographer is talking about.
Sounds like it.
I'm pretty sure that she doesn't want to be because a wedding planner, for those of you that don't know, basically take care of the whole day, right? So they're in charge of the timeline. They're in charge of getting people to the places that they need to be.
They're the head which wayer.
Exactly, head which wayer. And I don't think that she was saying that. That's possibly what she was trying to say. I was just, so when I listen to these podcasts and stuff, I have a earpiece in one ear, and I usually have my phone in the other, and I'm usually watching something else on YouTube. So I may have not taken her comment as intended. That might be it.
She's probably not doing the head which way on day of, and they need to have that person. You're saying, if I'm getting this right, absent that person, I'm not doing the wedding.
Exactly.
Absent the person who's managing your day of timeline, I'm not doing that
Because
wedding.
then otherwise
Correct.
we are the
Because you're the only one at the wedding who knows how it's supposed to work.
Exactly.
Right? Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we get to do everything.
So we went
done
right
that.
down a rabbit hole I didn't mean to go down.
No,
so
it's good. It's all
back.
good. So we got accused this week of maybe rambling a little bit, and I'm going to say it's not rambling, it's conversation.
Exactly.
That's what we call it.
That's
and we
right.
have a good time.
Yeah.
So
That's all
here
that
we
matters.
are. So I know Laquita's here this morning. I'm glad to have you here, Laquita. You always ask the best questions and keep the conversation going for us. I really appreciate that. We've got our topic today. I'm going to bring this back up. Danger, danger. And actually, we should probably jump to announcements for a minute. So I'm going to hide that out for a second and just say the big announcement that everybody's tuning in for today is about Fall Retreat. If you were on our Members Connect on Tuesday, you know that we have canceled the trip to the Tetons for two main reasons. We don't want to burn our dates that we've already had people set aside, and we don't want to burn a great venue without the proper permits. So we're looking at an alternative venue. It sounds equally as interesting, maybe a little bit more interesting to me. But we are not ready to make that announcement today.
No.
Because we want to put a few ducks right in their place before we roll it out.
But we are going to say for sure that it's the same date.
Same weekend.
So those of you who have taken time off work
You're covered.
or marked a weekend out or whatever, we're all good.
Yeah, so that's that. We covered it.
Yep.
Let's see. I don't have any other announcements today. I want to roll right into our topic.
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Know a lot today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know what? Jeez. Our Members Connect was this Tuesday.
Yep.
And that's the first and third Tuesday of the month.
Right.
And we had a great kind of conversation with Kelly. What's Kelly's last name?
Mayberry?
Mayberry.
Mayberry.
Yeah. Mayberry?
Mayburn? Mayberry.
Mayberry. I think it's Kelly.
Sorry,
Mayberry.
Kelly. If you're
It was
listening.
right there on the screen.
I know. It starts with an M, though, and we know that.
But you know what? I loved that.
Yeah.
So as a member, having an opportunity to just come together and have conversation, it's a lot like this, but on a Zoom format.
Yeah.
Well, and the best thing about that was she's new, right?
Yeah.
We got to hear firsthand about a new member, why they joined and what they kind of expected.
Good feedback.
Which was awesome for us because we don't get that all the time. So
That's right.
was the way to say.
Laquita, can you tell us the possible travel distance? It's about the same as what we had
It'll
planned.
be good for you, Laquita.
It's in the 4 to 5 hour range if I don't miss my guess.
Yeah, probably about there. Less than 6, to be safe.
Yeah.
Larry's like, man, maybe you're full
Maybe
of crap,
6?
Ryder.
It's in the 5 hour range.
It is not 12.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not 12. It's
Not 10 or 12.
No.
Hopefully that answers your. And Jen Alvey is on here as Save the Day Seasonings today. Kelly Mayberry is her name.
Thank you,
Mayberry.
Jen.
And we had it pretty close.
Really close.
Really close. We probably even said that
And
somewhere in the guessing game.
And 3 minds getting it close is
We
good.
got it good.
Yeah.
We got it good. Who knows? End of the week here, right? You got anything big for the weekend? Let's change that. You working this weekend?
Yes.
Yes and no.
Okay.
So you guys all know that I'm going through bathroom remodels. I'm trying to wrap the second one up, and it's this weekend and the reason I am doing that is because it's just too dang hot outside to do anything. So I'm gonna stay in the air conditioning and lay tile.
Great. How about you?
I'm working doing what I love the most, going out at night. So.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
New moon.
We are gonna shoot that, so that's pretty impressive.
Yep.
All right, so Laquita's happy that we've got the dates and all of that put out there
Yeah.
and the distance and all that. I'm glad that helps, Laquita.
More
Are you
info
working,
coming.
Bob?
So
Bob's working, right?
I'm working tonight.
Yeah.
you're all happy because you're getting
Say
paid in
it.
food.
Yeah.
I could be that guy with the sign that says we'll work for brisket, okay? So I've got a great neighbor. He does really interesting things. He's an engineer. He has a full CNC machine shop in his garage. He 3D print. It's all really neat stuff, right? He's always helping me with things. I come up with little ideas and he makes the prototypes, and for me it's kind of neat. He's got a large family reunion tonight, and he asked me if I'd photograph that, do some group pictures and some candids. And I said, sure. And he said, well, what's your rate? And I said, you're my neighbor, you're my friend, throw it at me. And he goes, how about a few $100 on a brisket? I'm working tonight. He was smoking them briskets yesterday, man.
So Bob's got a little slobber running out of his mouth.
All right, I love brisket.
Yeah, it's good
That's
stuff.
so good.
good.
And I can feed my family for a few days on a nice big brisket.
Yeah.
And we've had his brisket. It's always great. So
Tasty.
yeah, working tonight. Yeah.
Work and fun, just
Work
like the
and
rest
fun,
of us.
right?
Yeah.
And working with friends and
Yeah.
doing something different, not
Yeah.
a little out of my main alley, right?
always
So
fun.
that's that.
Yep.
11:11. Let's jump right into our topic. And I have a really cool graphic, but I don't want to blow it yet. So let's just kind of run through a list of these, maybe hit some of these key points, and then I'll put the slide up because it's kind of my top 5 favorites of what we're going to talk about. And in my top 5 favorites, I guess I could say this when I put the slide up, but in my top 5, if they are this person, I am not going to work with them. There's no negotiating it. There's no way around it. I'm just going to avoid working for this person.
All of a sudden, I'm booked that day.
And that person isn't going to get a referral from me because I'm not going to sick a bad client on another person.
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing that that came up in this conversation was trash talking previous photographers. So you get contacted. You're working with a client. I love this one. Well, my last 3 photographers.
Yikes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's obviously they're the problem, right?
Right.
If they're willing to trash talk other photographers by name, I'm not going to be part of that because they're going to do that to me too. And just so you know, you can't think you're any different than any of these other photographers.
Right.
Maybe your skill set's better, maybe you carry a conversation better, but the reality is if this person who's trying to talk you into working for them is willing to trash talk somebody thinking they're going to bond with you, forget it, man.
So, and I think the most important thing you say there is they trash talk them by name, because I've done work for people that have just said, I didn't like the results of the last shoot.
Sure.
And that's
or
okay.
They'll
Yeah.
say, we just weren't a good fit.
Right.
Right.
We just didn't get
Yeah.
along well,
Yeah.
or whatever that is.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's
but when they're
okay.
going to be like, so-and-so, and they did this, and forget it, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, they don't know that person's not my friend.
Yeah.
They think, so this person, this trash-talking previous photographer's person, thinks that we don't get along.
Right.
Thinks they can drive a wedge, and I'm not going to allow that. Not
Well,
in my
and then,
book.
like you said, this person is trash talking a photographer by name, and so you're next.
You're next.
Right.
That's my
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So here's
Exactly
another one,
right.
and this one I've encountered this over and over and over, but there's a little caveat to it. So the asking for a discount with promise of future work. Hey, I've got 50 condos we're building, and I'm going to hire you to photograph this first one, but you're going to photograph all of them. Throughout the year, I can provide you another, 20 jobs, 50 jobs, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Please.
How many people?
They're looking for the discount, and then they're going to lay that same line on the next photographer
Yep.
to get a discount, and then they're going to lay that on the next photographer to get a discount.
Well, how many times have you gotten the email, right? The spam emails.
Oh, right.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
oh,
Yeah.
I'll pay you this. You have a credit card, and I'll just jump on it, and then you can have
Yeah.
the next 15 shoots or whatever it is.
And they want
Yeah.
a discount because Uncle Bob's got a camera that he could
Yeah.
probably do it for that price.
How'd you know Uncle Bob had a camera?
Oh, not this Uncle Bob.
I am Uncle Bob. I'm Uncle Bob, I'm Coach Bob,
Yeah.
I'm Counselor Bob. All right, so
jeez.
so promise of future work for a discount, that never works out.
No.
Yeah.
Here's my caveat. I've got some big corporate clients. Once they have established with me that they're hiring me consistently, I am more than happy to talk about price.
But that's a repeating discount. That's not
It
what you're
is.
talking about.
I'm happy to have the conversation about price
Yeah.
if it's somebody that has already demonstrated to me that they've got future work for me.
Yeah.
In fact, I was just telling you guys, I've got a big job end of the month that now has booked another job into.
So part of my pull-through package is if I get a referral from you.
That's great too.
You know, I mean that's.
Yep.
And it's essentially the same thing because, you know, but it's not up front. It's not like, you know, we'll give you another job if you do this one for X. I don't do that. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Simplifying or minimizing or marginalizing language. Hey, I just need a few shots.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, I just need a quick this. Hey,
While you're at it, can you take?
right.
It will only take you a minute.
I just need a simple headshot on white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Photographer's headshot on white is not the easiest shot to take, right?
Right.
There's some
Take them out in the sun. full-
knowledge you need, right? You know, blast it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So any of that language that tries to minimize what you need to do, and if they honestly knew how to do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they'd do it themselves,
Right.
right?
Right.
So be wary. That's not necessarily a buzzkill for me. It won't necessarily not work for that person. I might take a moment to explain some of my process.
Well, sometimes that is a fish for a lower price because
Yeah.
they know what it takes. But
That's
if they
exactly
think,
what it is.
They think if they're going to say, "Well, I just need a simple headshot," the word "simple" to them cuts $100 off your price immediately.
I'm like,
Exactly.
here's your simple headshot.
Yeah.
I have to be careful. That's
Go
what we're,
find a white
That's what
wall.
we're blasting this through. Right, here's a white one. Click. There we go.
Yeah.
I'll just text it to you,
Yeah,
right?
that's the simple.
I'll just airdrop that to you.
Yeah.
Another one that I get a lot in that real estate architecture kind of platform, or maybe even the headshot universe. My last photographer only charged
Yeah.
X,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
And
right
that-
along the lines of, well, I've got a friend, my uncle can do it. I've had that happen to me with a senior, and I said, great, he can do it. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, bye-bye.
So
Yeah.
a common question I'll
was
ask,
that.
because this is, folks, this is a valid question. This is a valid response to my last photographer only charged. I'll say, well, why aren't you continuing to use your last photographer if you like the price
Yeah.
point? Universally, the response is, I didn't like their work.
And then the response you should say is, "Well, let me introduce you to professional photography."
That's exactly what I said to her this
Yeah.
morning, right?
Yeah.
So Jennifer
Yeah.
says, I will say that there can be key individuals that give great referrals that book, and after that, I give them some love to grow that pumpkin, but not with a promise of that. Yes, Andrew Thomas is watching today.
Yeah.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey.
Wow, aren't you
Andrew.
driving a truck, man?
Yeah. Don't watch and drive, Andrew.
Don't text and drive.
Keep it out of the
You know,
ditch.
they've got cameras on them and stuff. You can't do
Yeah.
that. Anyway,
Yeah.
welcome aboard, Andrew. I'm glad you're here today.
Yeah.
We're talking about danger. We're talking about the red flags when talking to new or potentially new clients, right?
Anybody else watching, just please say hi. Just
Yeah,
pop
say hi
by.
so I can see who you are and give you a shout out, right?
Paul Carlson, you better be watching. Remember, I
Oh,
boy.
Paul, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I reminded you.
Let's do this. I'm just going to throw the
Once,
topic up
Paul.
there real quick so you can see that. Okay, so our next one, pardon me, unwilling or stalling, delaying tactics when it comes to signing contracts.
Yeah, I give them hours. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
So what you
Yeah.
can't do is you can't send them a contract and put no
Right.
must be done
Right.
due by date, right?
Right.
we when I do a consult, I think it's so thorough that by the time I get to the contract, if they don't just like scribble their name on it
no-brainer.
right on, it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because everything that we just talked about and went over like 23 times
Yeah.
is on the paper.
Right.
So
Right. Yep.
Delaying tactics are the worst in
they're
this.
terrible, yeah.
And it's a red flag if they are. So this is just drawn from experience. if they are simplifying, marginalizing, or delaying on some of those very important things, they are going to be a late payer. They are going to pay late.
Yep.
Or be a partial payer.
Yep.
Right.
All things to consider. So listen, we talk photography, we talk business. This is the mix of the two, right? This is how I want to choose this customer and what things should cause caution.
Right.
And quite honestly, the hardest of the two is the business
Yes.
side.
It is the
Definitely.
business, because artists, well, we sometimes struggle with the business side of
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So this is nuts and bolts business conversation, all right? If this, then that. If they're
Yep.
unwilling to have a conversation about the contract, or unwilling to sign, or delaying it, putting you off on that, or they're any of the things that we've talked, right? They're simplifying, marginalizing the work. They are very likely to
Yeah.
be difficult to have payment.
Right.
Paul Carlson says, "Good
Hey,
morning,"
Paul.
and yes, I'm here.
Good job.
Welcome, Paul. Good morning.
And that's like with, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
That's like with what I do. If I'm hanging in an office, I'll have my consult, you pay me half, I'll order the prints, and if you don't pay me the rest before it's hang time, then you're not going to get them
Yep.
until
And
you
that's-
pay me.
So there's a lot of good strategies surrounding payment,
Yeah.
and how to bill and receive payment and deliver work,
Yeah.
so that it feels good
Yeah.
for the client.
Yeah. Yep.
I've had great clients that never failed to pay, and I never had a problem delivering the work before
Yeah.
payment, because I know they're going to pay.
Right.
Some of my corporate clients, 30-day net, 60-day net. Sometimes we don't see a payment for a month and a half.
Yeah.
It's corporate, right?
Yeah.
Those are usually the
But they make that clear, right?
really big, right? It's
Yeah.
it's part of it. Honestly, it's part of my dialogue. Hey, how does your AP work?
Right.
Hey, how does your accounts payable work?
Right.
Are you? I can take a credit card if you're empowered to do that. Usually, there's a threshold. Usually, they're empowered for $200 or $500 or $1,000 or whatever the corporation says. This is the card that our person can use. I'm finally at a point where we're not dying waiting for payments, and now I don't sweat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know my corporate
Yeah.
client's going to pay.
Are going to pay.
Right. That's just the way that is,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. In my business
Jen
life,
says one of
same
my
way.
red flags is when in the consultation they say, "How long do you hold on to the files? Can I order at a later time?"
Yeah.
They almost never do.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
that's true. But I've got to tell you, it's kind of a glorious thing when a client from years ago
Yeah.
calls up and says, "Hey, we'd like to order another album."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. We did a family shoot 3 years ago, maybe, and she right off the bat pre-ordered herself a big album and smaller albums for her kids. It was 2 or 3 or 4 albums, and then a year later she ordered another big album to gift to somebody else, and then a year later the patriarch of the family passed.
Oh.
So now, how glad are we that
Yeah.
we've done all of that? Anyway,
Print-
I just went down a rabbit hole with that. But so Jen, that's really good. That's really good.
Yep.
This one here, right? I just need you to shoot it. I'll do the editing.
Oh,
that's
I've
like-
been asked that. No.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely not.
If you guys give away your raw files,
No.
that's bad. Just don't do it.
No.
Period.
That's a no-no.
Yeah. You could just about
That
make that
hurts.
akin to, hey, can you do those fancy Instagram
Yeah.
filters?
Yeah.
No. I do have a caveat to this, though.
Okay.
Okay? If you're working with a creative director, you're working with an agency that is going to use your files in a project, they need you to shoot the product or the people or the process or the facility.
But that's negotiated, so that's
So it is.
a little
So
bit different.
a lot of that, you can never give raw files that you see on the talking heads. It's just not the case. There is a time and place where the raw files are what the client needs to complete the client's job. I just did this, and the client this is one with the lighting diagram and everything that we talked about.
but again,
They
that's,
said, we've already shot, so I'm talking to this person who hasn't identified themselves as creative director. But she says, well, we shot plates.
okay.
Okay. Nobody uses that
Right.
except folks in that industry.
Yeah.
We shot plates at an event, So we need you to shoot it this way because we're gonna cut them out and put them on the plates.
Yeah, and then
great.
and I did that corporate event I did last year. The video team asked me for some raw files. I gave them to them because they're going to use it in their production,
right?
And they have to have the ability to match the film that they're shooting, or not film, but the digital that they're shooting. So those are completely different.
So I guess another way to
scenarios.
say this would be when the layman asks for your raw files.
Right.
And actually, there's often confusion between raw and high res.
Right.
When they say, can we get the raw file, sometimes they mean, can we get the high resolution file?
Yeah.
And
true.
sometimes there's a price tag attached to that, right?
Not sometimes.
Yeah. You'll take it, I'll edit it for you.
All right.
Yeah.
You edit my picture.
Let's see. Jen says, it helps that I now have a product deposit. This is what you just said.
Yeah.
In addition to the session fee, paid in advance to ensure a minimum order. You must, photographers, listen, stop what you're doing, look up at the screen. You must cover the cost of any deliverables before you order them.
Yes, definitely.
Half down, baby.
Yep.
Half down, or I just take payment in full.
Yeah.
Well, I take payment because it costs so much to get me there, so I take that.
Right, that's the session fee
I just
she
hit
mentioned.
my mic, so you guys, sorry.
They're all like, ah!
I take payment for the session, and then it's half down for your order.
Yeah.
The night of the.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
okay.
And then the payment for the session usually covers the stuff I'm going to order, but I don't do it that way.
No,
I take half down on
because it wouldn't cover your time and talent,
correct,
as well as the product.
Right.
So if you're ordering from a lab, if you're going to make prints for these people, if you're self-fulfilling prints in your own lab, you must cover the cost of doing that work before you do the work.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many people out there are using labs? I'm not talking Costco. I'm talking like.
Oh, I use Costco.
I'm talking about.
I'm just kidding.
Jeez. I'm talking about BH Photo or Miller's or.
BH Photo. No, who do I use? Bay Photo.
Bay
That's what
Photo.
I use.
I've been with Bay Photo for a long time.
Or
Yeah,
Miller
I love Bay
or
we use
ACI,
Miller's for some schools.
Yeah.
They're all schools and sports.
They're all good, but how many you do that? I'd be interested to know that, because that when you start doing pull-through marketing and you start doing IPS, that it's important that you don't do Walgreens.
Yeah.
So the police department, and they're my passion project. So I do their people for free, and it's so incredibly rewarding. She just, the gal I deal with over there is kind of the top dog secretary, and she just asked me, she's like, hey, I had some prints made from those files, and they just look awful. I'm like, did you use the high resolution files or the screen optimized files? Because I provide both. She says, oh, I don't know. I'm like, and where did you have them printed? Walgreens. Like, I'll tell you what, how much is Walgreens charging? I double my money. I'm not making money off this job, but I cover my costs, and I make $2 per image, and I make the prints at the same price that Walgreens does, and I hand deliver them to her, and she will never again have to worry.
No.
And
if the prints are going to come out,
as long as she's there, she'll never go anywhere else, or she'll never because it's just like us. If you aren't outsourcing some of your stuff, you probably should be, because you're going to get busy enough to do it. Yeah. But when you start outsourcing, it's a kind of a liberating feeling, because you just don't realize how much time you spend in front of that stupid computer. And just like this gal, now she's outsourcing the printing, so
she was physically
doesn't have to worry about
going to Walgreens to print it, and they didn't come out, and she didn't know what to do, and she'll never have to worry about it again.
And thankfully, Costco is not doing any photography anymore.
Yeah, they dumped it.
Now I wish
it's
Walmart
online.
would stop.
So Costco still does it. If you have a photo center thing, they do it online and ship it to you.
Oh, I thought they were getting rid of it. I heard.
They pulled their
in-store
labs out.
Yeah.
Now I don't know about
I just heard that. So
that the corporate is going. Yeah, I don't doubt
know,
it.
though.
Yeah.
The next one on our hit list here is
Walgreens. Paul, no, you know better.
Kim says half down and the rest now.
Oh yeah.
Jen says I still take the full payment before I order any product, but the product deposit is before I even photograph them. Wow, I love that concept.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Paul says Walgreens.
I think that's
You now have a new source.
Yeah, he doesn't use Walgreens. He didn't even probably know Walgreens did it. Maybe, right, Paul?
Kim Critchfield says, I have to, he says to them, I have to pay when I order, and so do you.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a great response, Kim.
Yes.
I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we steal that?
Yeah.
That's a good one, man. That's a good one. I have likened it, some of these processes, some of the payment conversations, I have used the buying a car analogy. You don't go get a car and then they send you a bill for it a month later. You go sign a bunch of papers, a contract, and pay some money or arrange your financing.
Well, when you sign those papers,
you
pay for it.
Right.
So, or the bank does. But somebody's going to come knocking. Yeah, somebody's paying for it.
All right, another point on our punch list is asking for discount before they've provided full details.
Yeah.
In fact, you could just say even asking for a quote before they've laid out what they need done. Well, I just want to know how much. I just need a ballpark.
Yeah.
They're not looking for a ballpark. They're looking to tell you, well, you said, like that was before you told me. So this is where developing a set of questions that you can go to. I use the phrase scope of work. I can't provide you a detailed quote until I understand the scope of the work to be done. So let's have a conversation. Are you available by phone? I'd love to chat with you real quick. We don't have to do this by email. And I'll talk to them for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes on the phone. Gives you a chance to flesh some of these out and just ask those details. How many people am I going to be photographing? How long do you think you're going to need me? How flexible is your date? How likely is it that your booking date's going to change between now and then? Oftentimes I'll lay in the fact that I'm hiring help. I'm hiring assistants for this job. If it's a big job, we hire a team.
You're tying up your time.
So before I hire, I need to know that your dates are set in stone, that kind of thing. So asking for a discount or asking for a detailed price quote before they're willing to provide you any details is a red flag. And if they're dodgy about those details,
that's really a red flag.
Oh man, right?
Yeah.
They're just trying to pin you to a low price for telling you that they plan to add more people. And I'm here to tell you, they always plan to find more people.
Yeah. So those people.
That's why we work on a per head price. We have a price for showing up, and we have a per head price for what we do. Okay. That's that one. Well, and that's the next one. Unwilling or dodging providing full details before getting a quote, right? And I covered this one too in the first one. My previous 3 photographers didn't work out. It's not the photographers. Danger, danger. All right, so this one's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and I'm sorry if this is you. But the email that you get has an @AOL.com domain on it. And I say that tongue-in-cheek, right? You're likely dealing with somebody who doesn't understand contemporary stuff because they're still using their AOL email from 1992.
They didn't even have one. That's like a Hotmail email too, probably. Maybe. I don't know.
That's not always the case, but
not always the case. I say it a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I did preface it with that. It's just kind of a thing to it's not necessarily a red flag. Maybe it's a yellow flag.
I have a Hotmail address.
I do too.
But you know what I use it for?
And Gmail and Yahoo.
When I have to sign
your
up.
spam stuff.
When I sign up for something, I get
That's
it's my bit bucket.
Once in a while, I drop into my Gmail accounts and go, wow, okay. They actually do a pretty good job separating stuff, right?
Yeah, they do.
So I said that a little bit tongue-in-cheek. The next one, I'll be your best customer. I'll recommend you to everyone I know. This is before they've seen your work or you've done any work for them. You've provided any services. How do you know you're going to be my best customer? How do you know you're even going to like me? How do you know you're going to refer me? What if I'm a jerk? What if my work is terrible? I'll often lead with...
I have a T-shirt that says I'm a jerk. They know right away because I just wear it.
You have a T-shirt that says that's a horrible idea.
What time?
What time?
Oh yeah, I love that one.
You had that on while I was riding my road bike in the hallways of the hotel down in Wendover.
That's right.
We may have had fun with that. I'll lead that question, or I'll follow that question with, have you looked at my portfolio? Because sometimes you get somebody who is really well connected. And this isn't necessarily an immediate disqualifier for me, but you know what? It's an all too frequently used line.
The deal is that usually if somebody says, I can get you more work than you can handle, that flag should just go sky high, because you usually get more work than you can handle from people that don't say that.
Yeah.
That is
absolutely true.
You're hired by somebody, they like you, you do a good job, and they say, you know what, right on the job they'll say, you know what, I got this other deal, do you do this or whatever. The people that say, I'll get you more work, I know so and so, those are just they're attention grabbers.
Yeah,
so
not good.
All right, so I'm finally going to put
and they're going to want a discount.
I'm finally going to put these points up on the screen for them, just kind of my top 5 here. They ask for discounts before seeing your work or using their services. They promise future work for a discount. They're a poor communicator. Remember, poor communication before the job is horrible communication after the job, and often leads to late or no payment. Yeah. Unwilling to share details before getting to a price quote, and trash talking other photogs. I want to lay this up there. I'm going to leave it for just a minute while we talk about the next point.
I have a problem with that next point. I had a really good communication with the job, and then now I'm having poor communication. They paid on time, everything was clockwork.
I have an answer to that.
Okay.
Should we state the problem first, or the issue first?
Well, it's actually on the screen, right? Poor communication before the job, right?
Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't read this.
Expect
Welcome
lousy
to
communication
PPI Live.
after the job. So I'm gonna drop this off now. Thanks for joining us, Lair. I have a simple answer to that.
Okay.
Call them.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone and call them.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
I did. I left a message.
Here's the thing that
What's your next answer?
Call again.
Don't
Okay.
leave messages.
I think I'm going to call the source.
Don't call between 11 and 1.
I'm going to call the dentist himself. I know
Great.
him personally, so I'm
Great.
just
So
going to call him.
listen.
Yeah.
To a point, you'll never have a client tell you they wish that you didn't communicate better.
Right.
Okay? Or you'll never have them tell you you're communicating too much.
Yeah.
And you know what? Hey, I dropped you an email,
Yeah.
but I didn't get a response. I want to make sure you saw it. Okay?
Okay.
Hey, little man. I've got company here.
Yeah.
So listen.
Yeah. But that's true.
I need you to step out. Thank you. I'll see you in a bit. We're not far from it, actually, 10 minutes or so. So this is really important. We kind of mentioned this a little bit over the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. I've been having real trouble with email connecting with some of my best clients.
Yeah.
So now, if I send an email and don't hear back in 24 hours, I call.
Yeah.
And I just told this gal yesterday, we've had a problem, we solved the problem, it came back, we solved it, it's back again. I told her, look, you can always expect to hear from me within 24 hours, usually within an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, I am on top of my email responses. If you don't get a response from me by the next business day,
Yeah.
text me, call me, ring my ears, whatever you need to do, because it's getting dropped somewhere. And this is the modern problem we're having with the abundance of spam that's out there and all of the filters that are being applied. Your internet provider is filtering, Outlook is filtering, you're filtering at your local desktop.
Well, and then most people, a lot of people, a vast majority of people use Gmail, and those filters they're pretty good.
Very strong.
So some, like even stuff that I have said, no, don't put this in promotions or don't put this in updates, put it in my inbox, still gets filtered out to promotions. And a lot of times, now I'm not saying that businesses use email, but what I'm saying is clients, individuals probably do.
My businesses live by email.
And so, well, not email, but Gmail.
Oh,
and
right.
so individuals probably do. So, that, and so Bob's got a good point. And there's study upon study upon study that, the kind of the early bird gets the worm, or the quickest bird gets the worm, I like to call it, because if you answer right away, like within 12 hours or within a certain period of time, your chances of getting that client are way higher than the next person that does.
Well, so right now we've reached a frustration level that I feel is just precarious. So I've got to solve this problem, or in my case, I gave this gal permission, and she's new to the job since August, okay? She doesn't really know how things work yet. She's like, I'm gonna need you to help me through this a little bit. I'm happy to do that. But I missed her questions email. It didn't come. So anyway, pick up the phone and call them.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone. There is absolutely no harm in that.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm finding that more and more of my clients would rather have a brief conversation than have more stuff in their email that they've got to either deal with now or put off to later, which often doesn't get dealt with, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
valid point.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
Yep.
So that was, I'm going to come back to that, right? Poor communication prior to the work. You had great communication prior to the work. Something happened.
Right.
Something has happened.
Yeah.
You know, another problem is the communicator.
Yeah.
We call them the gatekeeper in our business.
Right.
Leaves.
Maybe she's not there anymore. That's exactly right.
So
yeah.
this whole post-pandemic world that we're in has seen an absolute flushing out. And then on top of that, you're dealing with the medical dental field.
Yeah.
Okay. There are acquisitions taking place like mad right now. So one of my good clients, Meridian Pediatrics, was just absorbed, bought out by St. Al's.
Oh.
They are no longer my client. Okay. My gatekeeper there left last year. So that put me to her boss, who's now the new gatekeeper, who's a very busy person, who is the office manager. 15 years with the company. She said, I'm not having that, and she left. I just heard from her this week. She landed at a new office with 5 locations, 3 times the number of employees.
Perfect.
That worked out,
Yes,
right?
it did.
But the point is it could
That's
be an
true.
email problem. It could be the person you were
Gatekeeper,
talking to
for
is
sure.
gone.
Yeah. Didn't
And
even
there's
think
no
about that
handover. Like,
No.
here's my email account, or here's the email, or these are the things I was working on.
Well, as a general rule, there should be, but they miss it a
Right.
lot.
There
it
isn't.
doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big deal,
Yeah.
okay? Here's one that bothers me. They want you to quantify your price.
I love that one.
Well, and so we were at a financial firm a few weeks back, and one of the guys came in, really good looking guy, came in a really nice outfit. We shot like 3 frames of the guy. He was in front of my camera for about a minute. And he looks at me on his way out and goes, that was a quick $100. I'm like, yep. He didn't say it offensively.
Yeah.
He didn't say it, but it occurred to him, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know why that was quick? Let me introduce you to
know what you're
professional
doing.
photographer, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we've done this. But
Right.
he didn't ask me to quantify that. Well, what did that just get me? No. He recognizes he got a good deal, I got a good deal. Life's pretty good in that lane, right?
Yeah.
But they
Well,
ask you to break.
But you were doing kind of a mini session inside of a shoot,
I
right?
hate that phrase.
I know, but that's kind of
So
what you're doing.
what I would refer to that differently is, instead of billing the master client, they facilitated the shoot and I billed all of the individuals.
Right.
And we go into those events with a discounted rate.
But well, I guess what I'm saying is,
'Cause it's volume.
But even if you do a mini session, that's the same type of a deal. So that's one thing where they still will ask you to quantify your price. You know, so if you're doing a mini session on whatever, let's just say you're doing a mini session on seniors. I'm not a senior photographer. I've done some, but I'm not. That's not primary. And I'm just spitballing here, so I'm not trying to insult our senior photographers, but let's just say you do mini sessions for $125 or $150. Let's do that. $25 more. Very seldom, even then, they'll say, well, it's $125 for one outfit. It's $125 for 25 minutes. It's $125 for one session, and oh, by the way, I got to leave. Those are not your clients.
Yeah, so I've got that in bold there, right?
Yeah.
The person who asked me,
Exactly.
now this is different from the person who asked me, how does this work? What do I get, how does this work? What am I getting?
Yeah.
What's the process? I never mind the process question. That's my chance to educate, right?
Right.
This is the person who's disagreeing your price and asking you to break it down, because they're going to look for nitpicky points. If you say, well, it's 5 pictures for this much, they're going to say, well, I only need 2.
Well,
and then they expect you to break the price point.
And what they're going to do is they're going to go shop, right?
Right.
So if you say, well, just like Bob was just saying, this will be whatever, $50 a picture or whatever it is. Okay, thank you. And then you never hear from them again because they go to photographer B and say, well, I could get it for $50 a picture over here. Oh, well, I'll do it for 45 or 40 or whatever it is.
Yeah, and so don't play that game, guys.
No.
Don't play that game. I don't mind when a good customer asks me to sharpen my pencil.
Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah.
Hey, can you sharpen your pencil a little bit? We're a little bit outside our budget.
And
okay, great.
And the whole thing with IPS is the pull-through, right? So that's the name of the game, is the pull-through. You order this, and you get this for free, which equates to sharpening your pencil. And hopefully you build enough margin in there that if you have to sharpen it a little bit more, boy, that's $500 more than I really wanted to spend. Keep talking to them, and you finally realize that they're not going to order that $500 extra. Okay, if I drop it down to $200, if I drop that $500 gap down to $200, how's that?
So one way to achieve that, and this would be a pricing topic, but one way to achieve that is not only are you providing pull-throughs, but when you get to that point, you have to have pull-outs. You know what? I'll tell you what. I can do this package.
Yeah.
But I'm going to substitute 5x7s for the 8x10s.
Right.
Your cost is negligible difference, but there has to be something that took the price down.
Right.
Otherwise, your prices are arbitrary, right?
Right.
So there's that. Hey, good stuff. This one's tough, right? States they won't pay until they've reviewed the images.
Yeah. No.
Do not work for that client.
Yeah. Say thank you.
Well, we don't typically pay until we've had a chance to see the images.
Nope.
Yeah.
If you had an opportunity to review my portfolio, you know what my work looks like. My work is incredibly consistent.
Well, first of all, you're going to be paying me a session fee anyway. So you're going to be paying me. So
Yeah.
All right. That's that. That's really my whole punch list right there. If you want to talk about any of these.
Well, so be thorough. We beat that up to death. The next one though is look past the money. So, you have to. This is a kind of a game.
Money's the carrot, right?
Yeah, money's a carrot, and you kind of have to look past that thing. And we've hit on this in this program over and over and over again about what they can do and what they can't do, and the verbiage that they're using versus the verbiage you're using. And so the money, if you just literally took the money away from everything, and you have a rapport with this person and they have a rapport with you, that's a good deal. Because if you hit it off and they know what you shoot and you know what you shoot and things are good, it's all good.
Yeah.
Really good. Really good. That's it. Why don't we put a wrap on it?
Yeah.
We're going to come back next week. I don't have my list in front of me of what our topic is next week. It's good.
Me either.
We're going to have, we'll talk about this offline here. But folks, that's our show for you today. I wouldn't mind hitting this point.
Yeah, ppofidaho.com. Listen, join us. Go out there to ppofidaho.com. There's a big join us button on the front page. Mash on that thing. $99 a year or
$9.99 a month.
Easy peasy. We asked for a year commitment on the $9.99 monthly thing. All of our stuff is out there. We're going to change platforms pretty soon. Not going to get into that, but that'll be a good win for us.
Good stuff. And now that we're over here on YouTube, we've got great stuff coming on with weekly content, some of our PPI events like our road show that we did down in Idaho Falls recently, and coming in the next few months, you're going to see some of our educational content come online as well. So I need you to hit that subscribe, ring that bell so that you get notifications when we're coming up. That worked for you.
Yes.
This morning, you got notified that we were going on in half an hour.
It was very cool. Yes.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it for today, this week, and we'll shout next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.